hi Vedika.
Hi sir.
How are you, ma?
Fine sir. What about you sir?
Great, I'm doing great, Vedika. So, you did your masters.
Yes sir.
Okay. So, what was the aggregated percentage in the masters?
I got 82% sir
Okay,
in my
82%.
MBA.
Okay. So, why did you select MBA as your career?
Yes sir, because I'm into the field of accounting and finance right from my graduation itself in BCom Computers, and I have chosen MBA rather than MCom and all the traditional post graduations because MBA offers communication skills and professional skills, as MBA is generally considered as a professional degree, and in that too I have opted the stream of finance, as I am a person who is interested in the field of finance and accounts.
Okay, Vedika. So, that means, so you said your masters, so in the finance. So, what was the project in your masters?
Yes sir, my project is budgetary control sir, and I have done it in Vizia Dairy Limited. Actually it is a dairy company, and I have done it for 45 days actually.
So, what did you learn from that project?
Yes sir, budgets are very important in every organization definitely, and which contributes to the increase in operating performance and profitability of the organization, and budgets are an estimation of performance needs of the organization. Definitely budgetary control is a system of controlling costs and comparing the actual performance with the budgets to increase the profitability, and acting upon the results to review the performance and improve for the future purpose.
What was the techniques which you used for this, doing of this analysis?
Yes sir, I have used only one technique. Actually it is a normal generally used technique, that is called variance analysis for doing the budgetary control. In that technique I have compared the 2 years budgets, and I have done the percentage changes and absolute changes, and I have interpreted according to the calculations I have done in the project.
Okay, so that means you worked on the comparative analysis.
Yes sir, it is like a comparative analysis, we can say that.
Okay. So how do you find out the absolute change when we are doing a comparative
Yes sir,
analysis?
we can find out the absolute change by subtracting the figures of the current year from the previous years actually.
Okay.
And the percentage change can be a ratio of the previous years and current years difference to the previous years into 100.
Okay. Fine. So, what was your findings from the project?
Yes sir, I have found it that the company management has efficiently followed the cost management system, and it has a very developed budgetary system, and it has also maintained the budget manual in the company actually.
Okay. So, any suggestions from your project?
Yes sir, I will suggest that to maintain the same budget manual they have maintained, but they have not properly maintained with the dates and all. They have just wrote the theory about the organization, that's it. And another finding is that the company has to review on every activity for every month and every year actually, that is very important. And the company management needs to maintain a proper fund reserves even. Those are the findings of the project.
Okay.
That have found it, and they maintained it very well actually, the proper fund reserves and all.
Okay. Can I trust this is a genuine profile or you buttified?
Yes sir, I have done it in my real time experience in the Vizia Dairy for 45 days. I have went there and collected all the sources. I have used 2 sources actually, primary sources, secondary sources. The information which is given by the company, and also I have browsed the internet, and I have visited many websites also. I have referred many books related to the budgetary control in the library, and I finally made my project done.
What is the major reason or major cause for doing a budgetary controls?
Yes sir, actually when I wanted to do a project, there was 2 topics available actually, and one is I think it is related to some working capital management or inventory management I think so, and another is budgetary control. everyone knows working capital management and everyone knows inventory control, but I thought that budgetary control is a peculiar topic which we can take and we can analyze so that everyone knows about the importance of budgets in the organization.
Is that budgetary control techniques can be useful in the organization or even the personal professionals also we can use?
Yes sir, in personals also there is no, in household course also we use budgets actually. We compare the previous month's budgets and the salaries and the incomes of household, and we estimate the actual expenses and incomes, and we prepare the budgets for the next month accordingly actually.
Okay. So, do you have any idea about a SWOT analysis?
Yes sir. SWOT refers to strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. SWOT analysis is nothing but a framework or an analysis of our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Generally it is referred to the organizations also, not only individuals. We can analyze the strengths, weaknesses, organizations and threats of in organizations and individuals as well actually. Strengths and weaknesses are considered as internal factors. Opportunities and threats are considered as external factors actually.
Okay Vedika, so I can ask one question. So can you please consider this SWOT analysis on your personal, and tell me what is your strength and what is your weakness?
Yes sir, generally my strength is, I always say I am a hardworking person and a disciplined person. And my weakness is I am a little bit of thinker actually, and I trust easily. I trust all the people easily. And coming to opportunities and all, there are many opportunities available in corporate sector for an MBA postgraduate, definitely I say. And in the same way, the threats including that there is a high competition even in the field of finance and accounting nowadays.
So how could you rate about finance and accounting?
Yes sir, I could rate 8 out of 10 in the finance and accounting.
Okay. So yeah, it means it's excellent.
Yes sir, thank
Are
you.
you excellent?
Sir. Maybe I don't think I can rate, I am on a scale of very good to excellent. I am not saying that I am excellent.
Okay. Fine. So tell me, what is the journal entry for credit sales?
Yes sir. Accounts receivable account data to sales account, as accounts receivable is asset to the organization and sales are income to the organization. So the entry is accounts receivable account data to sales account or credit sales account.
Are you sure?
Yes sir, I am sure.
Okay. So do you have any idea about accruals, how the accruals can be worked,
Yes,
and
sir.
how the real time things will be happen?
Yes sir.
Yeah,
I
can you
know.
please express?
Generally, accrual stands for outstanding. There are two types of accruals. Accrual expenses will be there, accrual incomes will be there. Accrual expenses leads to the accounts payables actually, which means it involves in the process of procure to pay actually. And accrual incomes comes to the bills receivables. It is like order to cash, we can say definitely, and all the accrual expenses are liabilities to the business, all accrual incomes are assets to the business, definitely.
So what do you mean by then accrual expenses?
Yes sir, an expense which is incurred now and the settlement will be done in the future is called accrual expense. For example, rent we can take as accrual expense. So the general entry will be like rent account data to rent payable account, we can say. That
What is the adjustment entry for that?
For example, we can take an example. We have to pay the rent for the month of January, let us consider, and we paid it in the month of February. Then how the general entry works is, for January we have to write rent account data to rent payable account, and when we paid the amount actually in February we write like rent payable account data to cash account, and the final entry comes is we have to cancel both the rent payables in the debit and the credit, and final entry will be like rent account debtor to cash account, as rent is an expense to the organization and cash is going out of the organization.
Okay. So you said rent payable account debtor to cash.
Yes, sir.
So is that rent payable is expenses or assets to the business?
Rent payable is liability, sir, actually. It is not an expense or asset, it is liability actually.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir, rent payable is liability, rent is expense, sir.
Okay. So what is a going concern concept and how this going concern concept is working?
Yes, sir. According to the going concern concept, we are always assuming that the business will be run for future years or long term period, and always our assumption would be like that the business exists forever. So that is, for example, if we consider we are purchasing a machinery actually, and we assume that that machinery will be useful for our business and will be run, and with that machinery we can run the business for more years or long term period actually.
Okay. So that means you are assuming that the machinery will be continue for
future years.
For example, the business is getting loss.
Yes,
So
sir.
then can I continue my business?
Yes, sir. It is depending upon the winding up terms of the company and the percentage of loss that the company is making. These and all will be considered when the company is in loss for a more future years, sir.
So do you know what is the procedure for winding up in a company?
Yes, sir. For the winding up of a company, first we need to check the loss balance sheets and profit and loss accounts for many years. Now, if we got loss in 1 year, we won't wind up the company. If we get loss for many years, then we will think of winding up, and even we are not in a position to pay all the liabilities, then we go for winding up. We have to take the process called capital structure payment actually. First we have to pay off the debentures and then preference shares, and then comes to the equity shareholders, which means we
But
sell.
I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
When the company is going to wind up,
Yes, sir.
we do raise IP, insolvency petition, right?
Yes, sir. First, we calculate all the assets and liabilities of the company, and according to that, we pay all the debenture holders and preference shares. And if there is no possibility to pay the complete liabilities for the debentures and preference shareholders, then we will go for a insolvency petition actually. First, we try to pay off. If we are not in a position and the business is in very heavy losses, then we think of insolvency IP actually, insolvency petition.
So, for example, you said something payables versus receivables.
Yes.
So, some of the amount which is receivable from your customer, unfortunately, last 1 year onwards he is not paying. So, what you will do?
Definitely, it would be considered as bad debts if he is not paying almost for more 1 year, and before 1 year we consider it as doubtful debts actually, or accounts receivable. After 1 year we consider as it as a bad debts, and definitely it is a loss to the company.
Okay. So, what are the accounting branches we do follow, and how these branches can be work? Can you please
Yes,
explain?
sir. There are mainly 3 branches of accounting: cost accounting, financial accounting, management accounting. Cost accounting is an accounting in which we find out the manufacturing cost or production cost by preparing cost sheet and production accounts and ready to sale process. And financial accounting is a core accounting in which we concentrate on profitability and financial position of the organization. In financial accounting, we prepare profit and loss account to know the profitability, and balance sheet to know the financial position of the company. In management accounting is a process of planning, organizing, controlling, forecasting and decision making. In management accounting, we take decisions regarding how to run a business successfully. In cost accounting, the main aim is to find out one unit cost. One unit cost is equal to Total cost by number of units produced. In financial accounting, the main aim is to find out one share value. Then one share value is equal to net income by number of shares in the business. And in management accounting, we always try to planning and organizing the activities in the business, and company management highly involves in this type of accounting, management accounting. And there is another points to be noted called where the cost accounting work will end, there the financial accounting work will start. Where the financial accounting work will end, there the management accounting work will start. Where the management accounting work will end, there the next financial work will start. For example, the organization starts the next year processes, like if it is related to trading, it starts producing goods and all. If it is services, it starts providing services and all.
Okay. What is the cost formula you said?
Yes, sir. 1 unit cost is equal to total cost by number of units produced.
So, do you have any idea about the ratio analysis?
Yes, sir. I have a brief idea, sir.
Okay.
Not
So, may I know what is net operating profit ratio?
net operating profit ratio. Yes, sir. Net operating profit ratio is equal to net income by net sales into 100.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Net operating profit ratio. Net operating profit.
How do you calculate net operating? Can you please tell me?
Yes, sir. Net operating profit is nothing but gross profit minus operating expenses. We can say net operating profit. Then net operating profit is equal to operating income by net sales into 100.
Okay. So, do you have any idea about the balance sheet? How the balance sheet
Yes,
can be
sir.
work?
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell me what is the difference between provisions versus reserves?
Yes, sir. Reserves are nothing but the amount which is kept aside in the business for future risk is called reserve. Reserves are generally created in the organization when the business is in profits. Provision is a short-term liability which will be cleared in the future, and provision is a noun liability which we can measure by substantial degree of estimation of all payables for financial years. Reserves doesn't have any accounting standards. Provisions have an accounting standards, and reserves are not created for a specific purpose. Provisions are created for a specific purpose, like provision for tax, provision for discount on debtors, provision for doubtful debtors, like that, sir.
Question here. So, what is the journal entry for provision for tax when you are creating in the financial year?
When we are creating in the financial. Yes, sir. Provision is regarded as expense generally. So, provision for tax account debtor to we can say to profit and loss account or
Sure.
no, sir. We can say like provision for tax account debtor to cash account. Not sure, sir. I will work on it.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have any idea about financial instruments?
Yes, sir. Financial instruments are nothing but the preference shares, equity shares, debentures, dividends and bonds. Preference shares are not the real owners of the company. They are just the persons who invest in the company, and they will receive the dividends at the end of the financial year. Equity shareholders are the real owners of the company and involves in the management activities of the company even, and they will get the profits after distributing the dividends to the preference shareholders. And coming to the debentures are nothing but it is like a bonds or a liability to the company, for which the company pays interest to the debenture holders, and debt certificate is issued to the debenture holders.
Okay.
And coming to the dividends, dividend is an amount which is payable to the shareholders at the every financial year for their investment in the business, in the organization.
Okay.
And bonds are nothing but these are the certificates or documents which are issued by an organization which are secured and pays and agrees to pay the rate of interest every year.
Okay. So that means who will decide this rate of interest?
Sir, it depends on sometimes it depends on company management will decide, and there are some government regulations also that a company within this capital or there are types of companies, so should pay this type of interest, should pay the dividends like this and all. Generally in board meeting the shareholders and the company management will decide the rate of interest and the dividends and all.
Okay. So you said like deduction of dividends. After deducting dividends, there is one term,
Yes, sir.
one retained earnings will come, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do you calculate the retained earnings? What is the procedure to find out the retained earnings?
Okay, sir. After doing all the revenues and expenses and the amount of net income left for the business is generally called retained earnings generally, and after deducting all the operating expenses, non-operating expenses and all, and it is a net income. Generally management decides whether to keep the entire amount of retained earnings with the company for the business purpose or to distribute it to the shareholders. After from the net income we pay dividends to the shareholders, and from that we got retained earnings generally. So retained earnings is nothing but shareholders equity, and shareholders equity minus dividends, we can say, sir.
Mm-hmm. So you are deducting the dividends and everything, then
Yes,
we will
sir.
get a retained
And
earnings.
there is another formula also. We generally add both shareholders equity and retained earnings. So we will get the total liabilities in the vertical balance sheet actually.
So you know what is the reason why they are adding?
Yes, sir. Because after deducting the dividends to the shareholders, then only the amount is remaining. It is regarded as additional capital for the business. So in that case they will add retained
Then,
earnings.
even we do create reserves in that time.
Yes, sir. Reserves are created for risk purpose generally.
How many types of reserves generally we have?
Yes, sir. Generally there are 4 types of reserves: general reserve, statutory reserve, revenue reserve, secret reserve.
As per my knowledge, it's 5 reserves.
Yes, sir. Sometimes they are considered capital reserve is also considered, but generally there are 4 types and capital reserve is also considered generally.
Okay. So do you have any idea on IFRS?
Yes, sir. IFRS stands for International Financial Reporting Standards. IFRS refer to a set of accounting rules how the transactions or economic events are required to be reported on financial statements. These IFRS standards are issued by the International Accounting Standards Board IASB, and these are nothing but a unitary set of standards which can solve many problems in the accounting world in the organizations. Generally there are 15 IFRS standards. We can say IFRS 1 first time adoption of international financial reporting, IFRS 2 is share based payment, IFRS 3 is business combinations, IFRS 4 insurance contracts.
Give me. So here, so you said IFRS 2, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
what do you mean by IFRS 2?
Share based payment is nothing but paying dividends to the shareholders. Share based payment it is called.
Appreciate. Okay, good. Fine. So basically, Vedika,
Yes, sir.
this is a night shift,
Yes, sir.
and even the pressure is a lot.
Yes, sir.
Can able to manage?
Yes, sir. I am comfortable with any shift first of all, and if it is required by the company, I am always ready to work in any shift, and I can manage the pressure definitely because I am a person who gives more priority to the career first of all, and I am as an individual I am always ready to work under pressure, as I believe working under pressure is a key to success.
So you are expecting any cap, something like that, from the company facility?
Sir, I would be grateful if you provide the cab facility. If not, I will arrange my own transport facility, sir. I am okay with any of that.
So how many years can we expect? At least 3 years you need to work with my company.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
okay with that?
Sir, I am here to become an employee of your organization first of all and build my career and gain a lot of experience in my field of interest first of all, and I look forward for a long term association with you definitely. It may be 3 years, 4 years, whatever it may be. I always look forward for a long term association.
Are you ready to sign on the bond?
Yes, sir, I am ready to sign on the bond as I am passionate about the field actually. It is my field of interest and in which I can enjoy each and every second of my work. So I can ready to sign on bond. Okay.
Okay. So personal life is important or professional life is important, as like you know.
Sir, according to me, both are important, personal life and professional life, because family is the pillars of our support, because they support us in all the low times, in when we are in a very low condition and all, when we are in stress and very dull and very demotivated condition. They are the pillars of our strength, and they always stand with us in all the difficulties and happinesses. So personal life is very important and professional life is also very important, because professional life creates our own identity to an individual and gets the monetary benefits definitely to the individual. So both are like two sides of the coin, without which an individual can't lead a life happily.
What was the salary expectations?
Sir, I would accept the offer according to the company norms and company salary grid. So, and I hope the best from you.
Okay, great. Fine. So last question.
Yes, sir.
Why we want to select? Tell me the 2 reasons for your selection.
Yes, sir. First of all, I am a qualified candidate with a good academic knowledge, and secondly, I am a hardworking individual and quick learner and have an ability to adapt myself in any new environment, and I can adjust and learn new things at corporate level. So those are the 2 reasons for which you can hire me, and if I get hired, I definitely assure you that I will meet all the company expectations.
Okay. Fine, Vedika. So my interview is done. So do you have any questions for me?
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
Anything, please feel free to ask.
No, sir, for the time being, I don't have any questions.
Okay, great. So my HR team will connect with you.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.